Is there any book you suggest an artist should read? No. I would suggest if you're an artist, make a book. Just make a book. Make a book that you'd want to read. Maybe. That's not actually true. Like I make savage memes, but I don't want to read the book because it's just so embedded in my head. It's redundant. Um, I don't know. What do you guys think? So I've never been asked that. It's a very particular question because it's like a book doesn't. I think the most important thing for an artist to do is just proliferate work. Just keep doing it. Do one thing every day. Just make it. It's all about reps. Reading a book will influence your content, though. And I would say, if you're an artist, and I see a lot of them, if you don't know what you're saying, I don't know if repetition is going to suddenly give you some truth or something that you want to say. And I feel bad because I see a lot of amazing, talented people, super gifted, and they're not saying anything. They don't know what to say. They would know how to say it if they knew what to say because they have the gift. My stuff isn't, obviously it's not a technical gift that I have. I mean, it's okay. It gets the point across, but it's not like that artist, technically, drawing, shading. But I think that the biggest leap for artists is what to say, not how to draw, not how to do the thing. I mean, that's in my field, media art. Of course, if you're a sculptor, you still have to say something, but you can be a technical artist and not have anything to say. You'll just get hired by someone. And if you're fine with that, that's great. But as far as a book, no, I don't have an idea. If you're going to run a company, maybe, and you're an artist, I would read the E-Myth, which breaks up people into three categories, visionaries, managers, and technicians. And a lot of artists are technicians and not managers or visionaries. Some artists are technicians and visionaries. And it's a useful tool to distinguish who you are and if you're working with someone, who you need to work with so that the combination of those two things are a match. If you're both managers, it's not going to work. If you're both the visionaries, definitely not going to work. So maybe the E-Myth, but that's more based on like if you're going to make a product, if you're going to do something, if you're going to make something in the world. It's like more about, and it's not about like shitty like branding and like making a product like get a lot of likes and promote it. It's more like just if you want to make something at all and to show people. It's good to know what you are in that context. The Artist's Way gives exercise. Yeah, I've heard of the Artist's Way as well. Yeah. You can draw off other ideas. I do it all the time. No, my ideas aren't new either. No ideas will be new. Don't chase newness or originality. It's not going to work. It's the only thing that can be original is how you're going to say something, like how you're formatting it maybe. And even that it's still not original. There are no rules. I mean, there are no rules to art if there's no purpose. But if you have an intention, you will run up against rules. Like just like comedy. Like people say there's no rules to comedy, but there actually is. You have to start with a premise that's true if you want to be good, and you have to know how to shed light on what's true for the most amount of people at least. If you want to bring them together with a laugh after you say what's true. So in some forms, there are rules. In music, I think there are rules, and that's an art form. The rules, you're constrained by, to some extent, the math of music and octaves. Or you can break the rules. It's just that there are consequences of breaking the rules. It's like, you can't just switch from a happy, you know, open G chord that's happy and going to D and suddenly just go to A minor. You know, you're changing the tone of things, you know? You're making people sad. Anyway, you just go to like a dissonant, weird, crazy nonsense chord that's only found in the depths of jazz. Like when someone's just about to OD on their heroin and they just reach up and hit whatever notes they want on the piano. No, and they just people. There are rules. People associate, minor with sad, major, happy, and there's all in between. But it depends. If you have an intent, you're going to run up against rules, really, because you have an intent. If you don't have any goal at all, then you don't need to apply for rules. But if someone says, "Dude, that sounds like a bunch of fucking noise. It's terrible. It's terrible," they'd be like, "No rules, man. I can't believe you have rules for liking art. What? So lame. This is a ruleless place." Yeah. Like I have rules. Like if I want to do a good comic, I can't just not abide by logic, or I can't just draw from something that nobody knows of, some obscure nonsense. There are rules if I want the thing to impact or laugh, or make people laugh or talk about it. You gotta follow some conditions. That's why jazz sucks. Yeah, I call jazz jizz because you don't know where it's gonna go. But hey, Brett, no, Brett, don't take that like that. Brett, if you want to listen to amazing musician, go to Brett Camus right there, who just said ouch. The thing is, he's just an insane technician. He can play anything, play classical, and he can go in between all of that stuff with jazz and learning jazz, and there is good jazz, in my view. It's just that it is somewhat of, culturally at least, it is can be seen as an inversion of what's whole. Just, but that's accumulatively looking at it as a whole body, how it influenced culture, what it represents, the people kind of that were involved with it, the underlying culture of it, the drugs, the nihilism, the sadness. It doesn't push the good necessarily, but that's a wider conversation than being, enjoying a song or a batch of songs, or enjoying and appreciating the ability to actually play, to actually improvise like that. I mean, I can separate those two. One is narrative. What is the narrative of jazz in it, and how does it influence? And then can you appreciate what's made independent of that? I think both of those things are possible. Skippity boop Scott, yeah. Skippity boop Scott, yeah. Jazz sucks, just play the right notes. Uh-oh. Brett's getting... Brett Camo. Told you, man. You just got